The three-contact system. A three-contact system to reach out to your hostess using every resource available to you is the way to ensure that every hostess has a great show and gets the maximum of benefits. You know, happy hosts mean more bookings, because when you have a happy host, that means they're coming back again year after year after year, and it also means they're bragging you up to all their friends. Happy hosts. It's your job. Host coaching is your job. So postcards, emails, phone calls, one-on-one, web blasts, host coaching at the show. Believe it or not, host coaching starts right at the show. In person over a cup of tea, text, email, Facebook, whatever you decide to do, it all integrates into a three-contact system. And today, in this hectic lifestyle, it's important to develop a system of host coaching that touches the host in a variety of ways, but the system part of it makes it easy for you to do. Once you create it, boom, it rolls along like a train. You know, once you got a system going, it's hard to get a train moving. But once you got a system going, it's going to keep right on going. It's hard to stop. So a system makes it easier to keep going so that none of your hosts fall through the cracks. A system of host coaching that reaches out to every single personality in a systematic fashion will guarantee cash flow that will almost double your company show average. All right? So host coaching, I already mentioned, starts at the show, right? Even before your new host picks a date, it starts at the show. An example of host coaching at the show includes saying really nice things about the host during the show. Anytime you compliment the host during the show in front of their guests, you're host coaching for the benefit of the future host. It's saying, I'm interested in my host and I'll do a good job for you. Also, saying things like, Sally, the host, already earned a free XYZ because she had 8 orders when I got here. Or Sally, the host, already has $200 worth of free products because she did such a good job collecting orders before the show. These little one-liners that you sprinkle out and plant seeds during the presentation are for the benefit of the future host, because when you plant those seeds for the future hosts, you're really saying, if Sally can do it, so can you. And they're thinking in their head, not really thinking it subconsciously. You're planting the seed that normal hosts get orders before the show. Another thing that you can do at your show is to have them write their own name in your calendar. Now, I know a lot of people use digital calendars, but I think that literally a busy, color-coded paper calendar with lots of dates and all your family time written down, and you're just a really busy paper calendar laying open does more for bookings than almost anything you could ever possibly do. Having your calendar full and looking busy, even if it's not, just put all your personal stuff in and open all the time, establishes a sense of urgency. People walk by and they think, oh my goodness, she's really good, she's really popular, she's really busy. That's a booking technique. But when they pick a date, you have a paper calendar, you can ask them to write their name, their phone number, and their guest arrival time right in that little space. And by doing this, it's a little, call it tricky if you want, but you're giving them some ownership. That act of writing their name and their address and their guest arrival time on your calendar gives them ownership. It also frees you up to do other things. You can, continue to add up orders. You can write down notes that she told you, like what she'd like to get for herself and other things you learned about them. Anything you can do to make notes so that when you're host coaching, everything that you could possibly remember, you write down so that you can draw on those to connect with them when you do your phone calls. But if the show's within the next 6 weeks, then give them the host planner right there at the show. And as you give it to them, you begin to host coach. Can you think of 40 people? Now, whenever you tell a grown-up that you want them to do something, you always want to tell them why. All right, kids ask why, but grown-ups hardly ever do. They just say, yeah, right, and then they don't. All right, so can you think of, hand them the show packet, can you think of 40 people? I know that seems like a lot, but when we invite 40, we end up with 16 to 21 guests in attendance. I provide a really good service for you. I make it really easy to be a host with me. I pre-print the invitations, so all you have to do is pop them in the mail or start handing them out. Now, you may be one of the consultants who actually mail the invitations out for the host, in which case I mail the invitations out for you. I save you time and money. It's really easy. I provide this service for you. The best thing for you to do at this point is to work on your list. If you can get them to start writing, you're going to have a better show. The best thing you can do at this point is to work on your list. There's a place to write down all your friends' names and numbers in this packet, and you open the packet and you show them. While you're doing that, we will get the best results when we give everybody a call now and personally invite them so that they mark their calendar. And then I'll put the invitations in the mail to you tomorrow so that you can drop them in the mail, or I'll mail them tomorrow and I'll also send one to you, or give me the host list within a couple days and I'll drop the actual invitations in the mail, and we'll call in a couple days to go over your host benefits and see if you have any questions. All right, host coaching at the show starts with planting seeds for future hosts during your demo, as well as getting the hostess to start writing down who she'd like to invite. If you can get them to start writing, it frees up their brain to think more, so you start that right at the show. Now, it's really important to have a system, and most likely your company gives you a system to keep track, like a chart, or I used to use I'm going to show you one in the Hostess coaching CD that comes in the Create a Cash Flow Show Party Plan training program. It also includes a data disk, which if you get the real CDs, you have it on a disk. If you get the downloads, it's a PDF file. But it's a way to manage your hostesses, because when you manage your hostesses using the system of keeping them all on track in the same system, in other words, a piece of paper or a card, so that when you look at it, if you're using digital, fine. Don't prejudge yourself out of what I say, because I'm talking old school. If you're using digital, fine. Have that, go home and write the information into your digital contact management system. But the point is that you need a system that's the same for every single host. And a lot of times, depending on you and the system, you may get better results with a paper one that you can travel, you can make notes on at the show, you can do different things with, or you may be the kind of person that likes digital. So whether your company gives you a system or whether you create your own system to manage your host, it's really important to have a system so that every host, when you're talking to them, you know exactly where to look for the information. What did they want to get? What'd you learn about them? Who was the hostess? What's the date? So that and the system also has to bring that to the top of the pile. Bring that hostess to the top of the pile when it's time to call them. So do you have a system for that? We talk a little bit more about that within the Cash Flow Show. This is an example of something that you could do in paper. This is what I did. All I did was copy this front and back. I actually created this for one of my jobs, consulting jobs, where I helping party plan companies do their startup. All you do is copy it onto cardstock, and the next page is the back. So what happens is that when you copy it and then cut it in half, you have something that would fit in a little file box very easily, and front and back. So first phone call, second phone call, and you just turn it over front and back. And the system that I used was so simple. Just get a filing cabinet or filing box that holds these little cards and put January, February, March, April, May, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And so you have a hostess you're talking to today, and you do the first phone call, and you plop them. You want to talk to them again 2 weeks down the road. You plop them behind the number 2, which is the second week in October, or the second week in January, or whatever. So you just move it to wherever it is, and then every Monday you just pull all the cards out for the week. It's a really simple system. There's a lot of technology out there. The thing about technology is you have to turn it on, obviously. So it's really up to you, whatever works, but make sure you put a system together so that your hostesses are all being handled in the same manner. So you know exactly what to look for. You can notice that, there's a place for about the host. You might put their kid's name, what kind of products they want to have, and then you have check marks for the different phone calls and what you're going to say for each one. This is part of the Cash Flow Show Party Plan training system.